I think so. There's a few assumptions that are usually behind those kind of hypothetical what if kind of questions. I think one of them is that you have to choose between taking care of people that you're responsible for and enemy love, that you can't do both. And I think we're still called to love our enemies, right? And I think, I think some people differ, but I think you can reconcile some kinds of force with enemy love. I don't think it's unloving to restrain or incapacitate a dangerous person to stop them from hurting others. Um, but I do have a really hard time saying that it's loving to kill them. I think that should be a place where I think we can kind of get that from scripture, and that sounds very reasonable. Um, so and I think I would also say, like, let's say this is the thing that's stopping somebody from coming to nonviolence. This, well, maybe 0.1% of the time, lethal force is the only way to save an innocent person or something. Okay, let's say that's acceptable in that very rare circumstance. But the text of Scripture and the Spirit of Jesus tell us that suffering enemy love should always be given the benefit of the doubt. That it should be pursued in almost every other circumstance, at least, right? So let's do that. So if there's these few rare little circumstances where you're not sure about, okay, we'll set those aside, pray about that, work through that, but join us on this is how we should be living. The enemy love thing is really should be how we should be living. Um, Another assumption is that violence is the most effective way to deal with conflict. So people are going to assume basically that, well, if you keep a gun in your home, you're more likely to be able to protect yourself and your family than you are to hurt someone that you care about, despite the fact that statistically the opposite is true. Or you're mugged in the street. Well, if you have a gun, the situation is going to naturally resolve itself, and it's not going to be, escalating into your death. Or some will say, well, you can't defeat a tyrant, a Hitler, with peaceful methods, even though studies have been done by folks like Erica Chenoweth that demonstrate that nonviolent revolutions are actually more effective than violent ones. And so, not to be
Nearly
cliched,
nearly twice as effective.
right,
Yeah.
significantly, yeah. And so, not to be cliched, but maybe we should be more inclined to give peace a chance. Um, I think the third assumption that's being made is that Jesus hasn't given us any guidance on this question, so we have to just be pragmatic or efficient. And so, but if you're a Christian, you should want to obey Jesus no matter what. And I think that's true, even if violence sometimes might accomplish a goal better than nonviolence might. Right? We're in the Jesus obeying business. That's our standing order. We start there. I don't think these hypotheticals are necessarily illegitimate questions. I get why someone is concerned about protecting innocent life against evil men. Totally get it. But I think it's these kind of hypotheticals, we should answer them after we have established what Jesus has commanded of us. That's the starting point. And then once we've decided that, then we can figure out how to navigate the hypotheticals. They're sort of used as a way to say, well, forget what Jesus said. What about this? And I think that's not the right way to approach it.